ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
And it's a wet drive out there. Welcome in to this Friday, May 30th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, and we do that at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We really got into it yesterday. The selections for the new Marshall basketball court refresh. Everyone's got an opinion. I got hit with that this morning. Came into the office. Hey, did you talk about that? Yeah. Which one did you like? Oh, well, I like 4. I don't think I like the Marco. Oh, no, I like the Marco. No, I don't like the Marco. So we've got that left over from yesterday. We'll get into that. That's not going to be the focus of today's show. It's going to be more about you, as it is a Friday. We got baseball to keep an eye on. We're following right now, it was delayed by weather, as if you're anywhere in the sound of my voice in the region, you know weather has been an issue all day. Well, it's also been an issue at the Clemson Regional, and a substantial delay finally got started. Kentucky and West Virginia, bottom of the 7th right now, and it's all tied up at 3 apiece. Kentucky at one point led by 3 runs, but West Virginia has battled back. So end of the 7th right now, Kentucky on top. No more. Tied with West Virginia now. It's 3 apiece. So that's going to be an interesting finish for those of you that are kind of keeping an eye on that score. Of course, I don't have a choice in this one. I think I'm rooting for West Virginia only because I want to annoy Bill Cornwell, our news director, who is all decked out in his UK gear. He's been watching all day long. He's been fighting through the delay. He is entrenched in this game right now. He is a huge UK fan, and of course, so I'm rooting against him. So I guess I'm taking the Mountaineers if I have to. I think the consensus was we're not taking anyone in this one. Just let the 2 teams win, and then, because again, no one's getting it. If you're not Clemson, you're not getting out of this regional. Fair to say? I think so. I think that is the accurate statement here today. So we'll get into baseball, and of course we've got some roster updates. The Cats making the roster official, and now of course this is a developmental league and it's going to change throughout the season. But 3 Marshall players on the roster. We'll tell you who those players are a little bit later on. We'll get into that. Some of the names that you were expecting maybe not on the roster for the Cats. I don't know what the decision is there as far as what Marshall is, wanting to make available as far as players. If you're Marshall, do you make your best available? Do you encourage your very best, or do you encourage players that, might need a little bit more playing time, a little bit more seasoning, a little bit more repetition? And how do you approach this? If you've got this opportunity, you can place players on this roster. You got a few spots. After all, the games are being played at Jack Cook Field. So you get an opportunity to maybe place a few players. You get to encourage players. Hey, do you want to work on something? Or, hey, this would be a great showcase for you. I don't know what goes into the decision making there, but Mike Anu's not on the team. I was going to say that right now. We were hoping. Boy, would he have been fun to watch, those wooden bats as well. And that's the thing. This is a different league. You got the wooden bats, which I prefer. I've always preferred the wooden bat. It's because it's baseball. Anything else is not baseball. I am that purist. Wooden bats. That's what makes baseball baseball. It's the only sport where we can go back to the start of the sport and go, hey, you know what? Other than some changes here or there, it's pretty much the same sport. Nothing's changed. I mean, they're using wooden bats. Nothing's really changed. The technology is not advanced. We don't necessarily have aerodynamic baseball bats with carbon fibers. And no, it's a wooden bat. So I prefer the wooden bat league. Absolutely. So we'll talk about who's going to be on the team. And, of course, we will talk to you. And I'll give that number one more time. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've been also following along the upcoming playoff format. And, of course, the Big Ten and the SEC are going to have the majority say on this. Just part of the deal. And so we're looking at this thing expanding to 16 teams. And I think that's fair. It should expand to 16 teams. You're going to hopefully have the top 5 conference champions as automatic qualifiers. And then you have 11 at-large teams. But then there's the push for the other model where it's 4-4-2-2-1-3. 4 automatic bids to the Big Ten, 4 to the SEC, 2 to the ACC, 2 to the Big 12, 1 for the top group of 5 team, and then you've got the rest going to at-large bids. So you could have, technically, you could have 5 Big 10 teams, you could have 6 SEC teams, 2 ACC, 2 Big 12, and maybe Marshall gets in one day. That's what it could look like. That number could fluctuate a little bit. Maybe you have 5, then one of the other leagues gets another member in. Who knows? But I think the other leagues are against that. I think the mindset is, let's earn this on the field. It might not necessarily benefit us, but let's do this and earn it on the field instead of having the automatic qualifiers pass 1. And so if there are 6 really good Big Ten teams that deserve inclusion in this, and then they earn it on the field. The seeding, of course, is going to be important because now, automatic bid doesn't necessarily mean an automatic first round bye. And we're going to 16, so it's going to be interesting to see how this playoff format works out. I'm for 5 and 11. That's the number I'm happiest with. If we're going to go with only 5 automatic qualifiers, 5 and 11 is fine. It guarantees at least one group of 5 champion has an opportunity. I would like to see that expanded. It's probably not going to be expanded. I'd be all for 6 and 10. I don't think that's going to happen. Give a couple of those conferences an opportunity. Let's keep it interesting. Let's keep every league engaged a little bit in this because this is going to eventually be the only thing we care about, if it isn't already, especially with bowls. And my stance on bowls. If you don't know it by now, ask me. I'll tell you. I would like to see the bowls contract. I'd like to see the bowls go away. You can still have a few, but I would like to see the bowl picture decrease. I don't want to see that many bowls. Not every team should get in a bowl. It cheapens, to me, it really cheapens it because you have teams that are 6 and 6. Hey, we're 6 and 6. We get a bowl game. Is that really the standard we're looking at here? 6 and 6, and we're talking about a bowl game. That's the standard we're talking about here. And I know that's not going to happen anytime soon because somebody's making money off this. I'm not. Somebody is. But the whole idea that, hey, we're 6 and 6, so we get a bowl game, and yeah, that's great. Now, I can't deny the experience the kids might get depending on the bowl location, but you look at these bowl locations and you go into the stands and you can probably pick your seat depending on the game, depending on the venue, depending on the middle of the night and in mid-December on a Tuesday. It's television programming, and I get that, but it's not necessarily worth the expense. And if you don't make a bowl, how much worse are you? If you're one of the teams that don't make a bowl, look at your program. All the bowls that are available, you didn't make a bowl? That's more indictment than anything because almost every team should make a bowl. The way this thing is set up and the system's set up. So if you look at your program and it's not making bowl games, how bad is your program? And of course, we saw what happened with Marshall, just up and imploded and didn't even go to the bowl. That's how important the bowl was to a lot of those players. It was so important that they didn't care and they left. They wanted out. They didn't want to go to the bowl and then transfer out because it's now about the individual. It's not about, hey, you know what? We won a championship here at Marshall, so let's go to the bowl now and win that as well, represent Marshall. It's not like that anymore. And so the playoff is more important and it has more value because you're playing for something more substantive, not playing for a bowl championship. A bowl championship, even the sound of that, you're playing for the title. Hey, we won the bowl. We get a trophy. We're playing for a bowl trophy. The coining of that bowl championship. No, you won the bowl trophy. It's not a championship. It's a trophy. You won the bowl. Congratulations. I'm not taking anything away from that. But here, we're the champions of the bowl. I'm not sure if that really is significant to me. You won the trophy. You won the bowl game. But hey, we're your Sugar Bowl champions. Okay, that has a little bit more substance still. But at the end of the day, it's a bowl game. So you won the bowl game. We're not playing for championships here. We're playing for a bowl title. And I don't think kids are really seeing that as, oh, hey, yeah, we won the bowl. Now, if you're playing for the national championship, that's another story altogether. Our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. You know me, the opinions fly, and you can throw them at me as well. We'll get your text coming up when we continue here on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Big flavors, big savings, and top-notch quality. Only at Food Fair. Food Fair is excited to announce 3 new signature brands. Food Club brings families together with delicious, high-quality meals without the name brand price. Craven Flavors satisfies your cravings with bold, mouth-watering snacks, pizzas, and sweet treats. And Simply Done makes life easier. With household essentials that get the job done right. Visit Food Fair today and enjoy the quality and savings in every aisle. Foodfairmarkets.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-857-4433. That's 800-857-4433. Again, 800-857-4433.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom, so that you can have patience with her just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, we'll be right back at it with Dave Monday morning, 10:06, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're keeping an eye on baseball. Clemson Regional going on right now between the Kentucky Wildcats and the West Virginia Mountaineers, and we're in the middle of the 8th right now, and it's still tied up at 3 runs apiece. So if you're a Kentucky fan, you got to be sweating this one right now. If you're a West Virginia fan, the comeback is on. Can the Mountaineers come back and put this one to bed? We'll find out. Of course, technically, I'm not rooting for either team, but to annoy a couple of people, namely our news director, Bill Cornwell, who I think the world of, but it's still fun to annoy him. I'm pulling for West Virginia over the Kentucky Wildcats. I know that's not going to make friends with some of you. You're big Kentucky fans. I get it, but it's just fun to pick on him. It really is. So all kidding aside, this has been a good one so far. The 3 runs apiece, and it's in the middle of the 8th right now. Baseball in the Clemson Regional. This game is on ESPN+. We've got baseball action ourselves coming up tonight. The Pirates are at San Diego, 9:40 first pitch. We go on the air, 9:15, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Other baseball action. The Guardians will play host to the Angels tonight at 7:10. And then it was earlier today, I don't know if you were following along, but the Reds got the win over the Cubs. Always a good day when the Cubs lose. Reds beat the Cubs 6-2. Stanley Cup last night, not over yet, but we do have the finals now set as Edmonton beat Dallas 6-3. So the Oilers won the series 4-1. And finals coming up, it'll be Florida at Edmonton to kick things off Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. NBA Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5, it was the New York Knicks beating the Indiana Pacers 111-94. Indiana still leads the series 3-2. Game 6 coming up Saturday in Indianapolis. Knicks in 7. I told you, Knicks in 7. You got to get to Game 6 first to get to Game 7. Here we are, Game 6. Knicks win this in 7. We'll find out on Monday if I was right. Of course I'm right. The Knicks are going to win this series. Going to play for the NBA championship. Spike Lee is going to be all happy. I'm going to be happy. I don't know. Pacers look still tough. Indiana might win this in 6. We're going to find out. We'll have that game over on our I think we're going to be able to get that on our sister station, Cat Sports on 93.3 and 1340. So our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 to be a part of today's show. Coldcats releasing the roster today. Baseball is coming back sooner than you think. For those of you looking for a game, guess what? Coldcats are about a few days away from actually playing some baseball, and then a few more days after that before opening things up at Jack Cook Field. And there are 3 Marshall players that are on the roster. Now, the roster could change as the season progresses. And again, this is a league in which it's focused on, it's Major League Baseball affiliated, and it's focused on development. And so if you're wondering which Marshall players would be on the list, would it be some of the superstars, or would it be players that maybe need a little bit more development? And so Jackson Golden, going to give a little backstop help to the Coldcats. He was in 19 games this year for the Thundering Herd, so he will offer, I think, some solid work for the Coldcats. And then a guy that actually had pretty good season with the Coldcats last year, Maybe not so much with Marshall. He had a 12.89 ERA, and that's Kenyon Collins. And so he was in 13 games this year. I think he'll do better with the wooden bats. It's not a totally different game, but wooden bats, I think he's going to do a lot better than he did with the Thundering Herd. He did better last year with the Coldcats as well. And then Branson McLeod, Spring Valley product, the son of Marshall legend Larry McLeod. He could use a little work as well. This is an opportunity. And I say that not derogatory. It's just you get more opportunities. In a league like this, you're going to have opportunities to perform. You're going to have opportunities to get some repetition. You're going to get some, for at least college off season, you're going to get instruction. I think this is beneficial for the bullpen, for the arms, to get a little bit more repetition for these two. I'm curious what went into the decision-making as far as these players wanted in. Did Marshall staff go, hey, these are the guys we think that would benefit most. They want in, and we think they will benefit. Are you trying to protect some of your name players, your bigger name? Are you trying to protect some of those guys? Not put them in a situation where they're potentially going to face injury. You don't want to have guys get injured in a league like that. And again, this is developmental. These players are going to play hard. They're going to work hard. But at the end of the day, no one's sitting there going, man, the Coldcats are terrible. They won like half their games, or they won 25% of their games. They didn't win. Nobody is thinking like that. It's, hey, we got a baseball game today. We're going to get to see some baseball, and it's going to be fun. We're going to go out to the ballpark. Depending on the day, you might get those coleslaw, hot dogs, slaw dogs. You might get to see some dogs in the park, something like that. I know Taylor Swift night is going to be big. At least I'm told. I've been told it's a big deal. Taylor Swift night. Taylor will not be there. I'm sorry to ruin the illusion, but Taylor Swift will not be there. But it will be Taylor Swift night for all you Swifties out there. I am not in that club. I'm not in the other club that hates on her, but I am not in the Taylor Swiftie club. I know some of you that are, and it is a lifestyle. I'm not saying it's a cult. It's a lifestyle for some of you. You're big Swifties. Did you see the news today, by the way? It came up. The only reason I know this is because I get all the CNN news flashes. She apparently got all of her music back. She actually is in control of her music again. Remember, she came out with, because again, I'm friends with Swifties. I know all this stuff here. She is in control of her songs again. Absolutely winning at life right now. Our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I just got a text. Hey, did you see where Marshall picked up a long snapper? Brock Walters, a pickup from Old Dominion. So Marshall picking up long snapper Brock Walters. So there you go. More additions to the Thundering Herd. Our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Okay, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect.
I love my job.
Oak tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals. Today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night.
Perfect. I love my job.
Oak tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with this Friday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Baseball action from the Clemson Regional. We're keeping an eye on that. Top of the ninth, Kentucky and West Virginia all knotted up 3 runs apiece. Kentucky 3 runs on 5 hits, 2 errors. West Virginia, 3 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors. So a game going on right now on ESPN+. A lot of baseball action across the board today. That's probably the game that we're most interested in. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on some of the Sun Belt schools as well as, hey, this is the sport where the Sun Belt's super competitive in. Baseball, soccer, some of those other sports that the Sun Belt actually is probably better than some of the power leagues, especially in baseball. But right now, fun one here. I know if you're a Kentucky fan, you're kind of sweating a little bit. If you're a Mountaineer fan, maybe you're sweating a little bit as well. I don't know. West Virginia's lost these situations before. Kentucky, of course, not exactly the best version of Kentucky we've seen, 29 and 24. So they are not as good as we've seen them. West Virginia should be winning this game, but as it stands right now, 3 apiece. We'll find out what happens, hopefully, before the end of the show. But we got plenty of time for you. Our text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter wrote in just a moment ago and said, Paul, I finally saw the courts that you were talking about for the basketball refresh, and I don't understand, like you, why don't they use the new Marco, the refreshed Marco with the sailor hat? I appreciate that. Thanks for the text. I don't know. The If the Marco head, hopefully it's not going to be distracting if you watch it on TV. I don't imagine it will be that distracting, but it's going to look better from a distance than it will up close. And I am just a bigger fan of the Marco that was refreshed with the sailor hat. That's more of the classic old school Marco for me, and it deserved a refresh, and it got a really nice refresh. And I would hope that if you're going to go to the trouble of refreshing a mark like that, you would start using it a lot more. I was not a big fan of the redesigned Marco head. Not that big of a fan. I'm not really excited by that logo. And in most Marshall gear that I do own, when I do own some Marshall gear, I avoid that mark. I avoid that logo. I'm a little classic. I'm a little old school. I like the block in, the refresh block in. I'm cool with that. I like that. I'm okay with the script Marshall. That's fine. I get it. A lot of people. I definitely like the Young Thundering Herd logo. That football logo that we see once a year. I'm a big fan of that one. I like that. I would like to see Marshall use that more. There are so many different marks and so many different logos over the years. It's just not been that consistent. Some people have texted in and said, hey, why can't it be Thundering Herd instead of the Herd? And I get it. Marshall's the Thundering Herd, but sometimes it's just, hey, let's bring on the Herd, not the Thundering Herd. And so these things are all going to be subjective to just what people like. For me, if you've seen the court design and you've got the green trim and the black trim, I like the green trim without the Marco on the court. I like that look. It's clean to me. Hopefully, that's the look that Marshall goes with. I've got a feeling that the Marco head, the outline of the head is going to be on the court, and that's fine. I'm not asking for you to put the Marco logo at the center, the block M with the Marco. I'm not asking you that. The Marshall logo, the block M, that is good enough for me. I'd like to see more Kelly green. Maybe Marshall will get away from the black a little bit more. And it's not that I'm against the black. It's just I'd like to see the green and the white focused a lot more. Honestly, I'd like to see in the Henderson Center, I'd like to see the green on the court. And then I would like to see white. Paint the railings white. I would try to get away from, I would have the green on the court, and then maybe, I know you got the green seats and those need replaced desperately. They're not even the right color. But I'd like to see white seats, white railing. Maybe you do black in the upper levels. I don't know. But that's what I'd like to see. Of course, they're not putting me in charge of redesigning and refreshing and logos and painting. They might put me in charge of painting if they can get me to actually paint for them. But other than that, I'm not the one they get to put in charge. They're not going to let me pick. Hey, what color would you like, Paul? I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe it will one day. Our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I would say keep the black on the football field. I understand that, and I get it. I like it. Huff asked me one time, it's like, well, which one do you like? Oh, I like the Kelly green. Well, the football field's green. No, Coach. I like the Kelly green end zone. I'm a little older school than you because I went here. I get the black, it pops, but I like the Kelly green. But the case for the black, you made the case for it, and I'm on board with that in the end zone. I'm completely, totally a fan of that. It looks good, and I was actually a fan of some of the different colors of the basketball jerseys this year. I don't think everyone was a big fan. I mean, I kind of like the gray. I like the Kelly gray. I would like to see more of the white and green mixture with the black trim, a little bit more black trim, but not, the black now and then. I could see you doing that make it more special, but my primary would still be the green and white with the black worked into it. That's just how I would like to see it work, and I think it's not a bad thing though to have different colored jerseys. You can have special jerseys. You can have a mixture, because again, it ultimately comes down to the kids. And I don't know if that argument works anymore because the kids like this. Well, no, the kids are coming because the NIL deal They're not coming. Oregon's not going to win too many battles these days because they've got the 54 different uniform combinations. I don't think that's going to be the case. I could be wrong. Maybe it plays into it. I don't know. And look, hey, and then we have 54 different jerseys. And we'll have every shade of Oregon green possible in every different combination. I don't know if that's going to attract kids the way it used to, but it doesn't hurt. Final segment coming up, your texts as well, 304-396-TALK. This is The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This summer, the fun heats up at Dave & Buster's. Introducing the all-new Summer Season Pass. Your ticket to unlimited gameplay all summer long. Now through Labor Day, choose the Silver Pass for unlimited weekday gameplay and 10% off food and drinks. Just $69.99. You want more? Upgrade to Gold or Platinum for weekend gameplay, up to 30% off food and drinks, and even weekly food vouchers. Don't miss out. Grab your pass today and level up your summer. Blackout dates may apply. Visit DaveandBusters.com for full details. The summer heats up at Dave & Buster's Huntington Mall.
Get ready for summer parties with big savings happening now at Menards. Shelter Logic canopies provide shade and weather protection for tailgating and outdoor gatherings. Their heavy-duty steel frames have slip-fit connections for quick and easy assembly. Save big money and check out our great selection of canopies in-store. Plus, find more great deals in our weekly flyer on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, I'm Nori, and over the years, my mother and I have opened our homes to those who need it most, and it's been so rewarding. I bet you didn't know that some adults who have unfortunately been mistreated need a place to call home in West Virginia. It happens more than you know. They may have some physical or mental limitations, and they need your help. Everyone deserves a place to call their own. I can tell you from my experience, it's worth it.
If you have an open heart and want to open your home, Adult Family Care may be the right fit for you. Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an Adult Family Care Home Finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-345-2789. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-345-2789 or biglou.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, he's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Still open at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It's our final segment, so let's make it the best one before the weekend begins. We've got a baseball update. Final now. Clemson Regional. Kentucky fell to West Virginia 4-3. Alert anyone that is close to my guy, Bill Cornwell, our news director, big diehard Kentucky guy. 3-0 Kentucky was up, and the Mountaineers come back 4 unanswered runs and beat the Wildcats. So West Virginia with the victory. Not surprised there at the Clemson Regional. I thought West Virginia would get the win over Kentucky. So not a good start to Kentucky's postseason. And, of course, everybody check in on Bill. If you know Bill, check in on him. Just check in. You send him a text, check in on him if you know him. Yes, if you see him out this weekend, just check in on him. Make sure he's doing okay because, he was ready to go. He was all excited for this one today. So that's where we stand right now. Until you can prove otherwise to me, I think that Clemson's going to win this regional, though. West Virginia's good, but I think Clemson wins this thing. 304-396-TALK is our text line, 304-396-8255. That's the number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So we've had an interesting week. A lot of it's been surrounding baseball. Obviously, we're trying to figure out what the playoffs will look like in the future as far as, will it be 4-4, 2-2, 1-3, if you know what those numbers mean as far as the automatic qualifiers. Will it be 5-11, 5 automatic qualifiers and 11 at large? Will there be another formula thrown out there? It's possibly going to go to 16. And, of course, the NCAA tournament. There's talk of expanding that as well, which I'm not on board with that. Absolutely not. You're fine. 68 was fine. 68 was acceptable. You're fine. If you're getting into the part of the schedule where, you're basically, here's how I want to say this. If you're among those teams that are the first 4 out or the last 4 in, you're not winning this thing anyway. And I get it. There's money involved, and you want to have the prestige of getting into this thing. But let's be honest with ourselves here. There might be an upset here or there, but at the end of the day, this thing is closer to chalk than it's not. And so if we're squabbling over the last 4 teams or so getting in, and that's going to be the basis of what we should expand this, we're looking at it wrong. Let's not make it easy to get into the NCAA tournament so when you do get in, it means something. Back to my argument with the bowl games. Every team gets a bowl now. If you don't play in a bowl, that says something about your program. That's how many bowls there are now. So if you don't qualify for a bowl, what's that say about your football program? And are we truly concerned that, hey, we need to make more room for bowls because we got to make sure that the team that was 6-6 gets in? Absolutely not. Oh, it's a reward. No, absolutely not. These things are scams to get people to buy tickets and travel to these events. And that's fine, I get it, but let's not hold this up as a sacred institution. The NCAA tournament is fine at 68. It's not broken. Let's keep it as such. Let's make the endeavor to get into the tournament challenging so when you do get in, it means something. Same thing with the college football playoff. It does need to be 16. I think that's a fair number. But at what point do we look at this thing and go, okay, are we just going to take the best 16 teams? Are we going to have automatic qualifiers? If you win your conference, are we going to do spreadsheets like certain leagues to talk about how tough their schedule is? It's really tough to be in the SEC. Yes, it is. So if you can win the SEC, wow, you're really good. Absolutely. And merit-based alone, you're probably going to benefit more from merit-based rankings and merit-based seeding than let's get 4 automatic qualifiers here. Let's guarantee 4 spots. Well, you might not be guaranteeing yourself 4 spots here if you go the other system, but you might get more in. Absolutely. I think these things are getting out of hand. But there's money to be made. You tell me who benefits the most, and I'll tell you why this is going this way. And that's why you're going to see this expanded playoff. I think that the bowl system eventually is going to contract. It has to. It has to contract because now you're getting higher level teams into the playoff, and so you got to fill that bowl vacuum a little bit, and how many teams are actually going to qualify and not have to have waivers to participate. Because if you look on the other side of the football field, hey, this team is won 5 games and is your opponent in the bowl. Okay, I'm excited for that. Yay. No, absolutely not. Playoff means a lot more to me. 16 teams, that's fine. I mean, we can do 16. You want to go to 24? Let's do 24. But no, I think 16 is a good number. And it definitely means more if you get into the playoff. Yeah, the access, I think, could be better for some of the other teams like the Marshalls of the world. But at the end of the day, you're hoping to get the top 15, 16 teams in and play for a championship. And I'm completely against the idea of the group of 5 championship. Unless the power leagues just completely break off, absolutely am against something like that. Because, again, that doesn't mean as much to me. Will it mean as much to the kids? I don't know. I would think you would want a shot at playing for a national championship. The bowls, they're secondary to me right now. All right, we'll be back with you on Monday here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And, of course, you can find me on social media at Paul Swann on X. And, of course, I link out to other various social media platforms. If you missed anything on today's show, you can always go back and listen to it later. Our podcast is available. Shows on demand at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And, of course, if you want an easy place to get the podcast and more, all you have to do is head over to our website, WRVC.com. You can listen to the podcast there. You can link over to your podcast platform. You can also download our app. It's available for free, Apple or iOS devices or Android devices. And you can listen to the show live, stream it. You can listen to the podcast on the app as well. So we got you covered. Have a great weekend, everyone. I do appreciate everyone being a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.